I completed over 27,000 orders on Fiverr. I received over 10,000 of different feedback. Luckily, most of the feedback is a 5-star, but of course, I also have a negative feedback, 1-star feedback, 2-star feedback. And I want to show you in this video how you can handle the complaints and what you can do in a different stage of situation and how you can properly address it. And I'm gonna give it from my experience because I had a lot of different crazy situations, so-so situations, and I handle them differently, but I want to summarize what has worked the best for me and how you can first of all protect yourself, still get paid, and not have any issues with the Fiverr platform, because eventually we are all, I would say, afraid in some way because we are on Fiverr, so we know that we don't want to risk our account, we don't want to get a negative feedback because we're going to start to get less orders, and there's other things around it. The first thing I want you to understand is that you can have a solution for every situation, and you should of course worry about your account, but I will try my best to break down so like this it will open up maybe for you some new ideas or some new ways how you can handle different situations. The first thing, I want to break this down into the 3 stages, because to handle a complaint before actually starting an order with a buyer, you can already spot some red flags, right? And I want to talk with you about this because this is a very important thing to understand. Many times when we are starting to sell our service, we just get excited when someone messages us, we see the timer message, we're going to respond as soon as possible, right? So we are extremely excited about this, but you have to understand every buyer is different and every buyer is looking for different things. So when I'm getting messages right now to my Fiverr account about someone who is interested to work with me, interested to grow their social media, to help them with the content, the first thing I ask is about their social media, specifically their Instagram account and the website if we need to create content, because by going to their website, by going to their social media, I can analyze and I can say, yes, this is a great potential buyer, or no, this is not something you want to do. And I want for you to understand, I know you want to make money with Fiverr, with freelancing, but don't jump into this sort of a basket where you just want to do everything for a client without understanding what the consequences are going to happen. Because at some point, the biggest issue, it's not to get client, but it's to actually do the service delivery. And previously, I talked about service delivery as one of the most important things. So for you, you should be understanding about this as the highest priority. So set the proper expectations. And what I mean by that is when you look at their social media or anything, their project, their requirements, you just tell them what you can actually do, because you can assess your skills and you can say, yes, this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do, but like this, you can actually say if you're able to deliver this or not. By looking at and setting up the proper expectations, you're protecting yourself from the refunds, from cancellations, or from any other issues that's going to happen later on. The second thing, when I see the buyers are messaging that they need this urgently, that they want to get started as soon as possible, if they're being extremely proactive, for example, they will say, hello sir, are you there? Question marks, I'm sure you've been getting this, right? And this is a bit a red flag, because not just, because the buyer is like pushy, but because first of all, they probably have, a very short deadline. So they need to get it done as soon as possible. And usually when they need to get it done as soon as possible, that can create a lot of complications. So try to protect yourself from that. If you see someone who's being very, very active, just, maybe it's better to not work with this person, maybe it's better to just avoid. Because the other thing will be is that when the order, if they're like this already, then when the order starts, they're going to be at the same time, right? Because when you get an order, you probably need some time to prepare, to start working, right? And they will be demanding from you, responding as soon as possible when it's going to be delivered. You're just putting a lot of stress. So this is also a red flag, unless you're really confident. And it also depends on the service you offer, because some services, for example, if you need to, let's say design a logo, okay, designing in 24 hours might be also challenging, but maybe some services you can provide within a few hours, right? In my case, this is not the case because it takes time for them to see the results, so they need to be patient, and they need to understand when they order a content service, I'm not gonna send them tomorrow. It's a process that we have because we have designers. Every designer is assigned to different clients, to different orders, so it takes time because we need to check their brief, we need to check their requirements, and then we're gonna start creating their social media content, and then we're gonna be delivering them based on the schedule we have as well internally. The next thing is you can do this, and this has been extremely well, and I think this is probably gonna save your life and protect yourself, is to send them a YouTube video. You can just record a video like this, can be just Loom video from your computer, and talk about what they can expect. And this is a game changer for me. I think I closed so many clients by just having this personalized. I mean, it's not really personalized. It does sound personalized, but it's a generic video for everyone. But in that video, they can see exactly what I do. I tell them what I use, what results they can expect, and just in general how I'm gonna do it. Because by watching this video, first, they have a personal connection with you in some way. They see who you are, they see how you speak. Second, they are more clear about what they can expect from you. Third, it creates, I would say, competitive advantage, because a lot of sellers are not doing this. They're trying to push it just through the message, like, okay, I'm gonna do this is how it works, blah, blah, blah. When you start sending a text, it's gonna create more complications in terms of it's gonna create, when you have, for example, a long text, they might not just read it. So that's really a problem, and that's just not gonna be working eventually well. The other things, the last one is the guarantees. You have to be careful and not provide any guarantees. A lot of times when client comes to me, they ask, okay, how many followers I will gain, how many people I can expect. And I don't give them exact number because every account is different, every account can perform differently, but I do give them the range between, let's say, this number and this number that they can expect. The other thing that you can do is that you can, of course, say to them I cannot guarantee results, I cannot promise you leads, I will do my best, but this service doesn't guarantee you the sales or the leads. So this is how you can protect yourself when the order is not actually in place, when they're just talking to you. And again, please don't be excited when they're you have the new message, but the buyer is being pushy, a lot of different things. You want to surround yourself with the people that you want to work with, and your journey, on Fiverr or anywhere else can be exciting, by just, thinking and remembering about these things. Okay, the next thing is when the buyer actually starts the order, what's going to be happening next. And let's say during the order, let me show you, you'll probably see here more clear. When they start an order, how you can handle these difficult situations, because in my cases, it also happens, the buyer will say, sorry, I don't like this, or why are you doing this? Why I'm getting this result? This is not what I expected, right? You have a few things how you can handle. In my cases, because my services, let's say, not high priced, so they're not in thousands of dollars, they're starting from $140 and more. So I would say to the buyer, I'm here to help you. If this is not working out for you, I don't want to charge you for that. I don't want to take your money for this, right? So I'm being very transparent because this is something that is always in my philosophy, in my work ethic, that if the client is not happy, that's totally fine. My service is not for everyone. People who like it, okay, that's perfect. I want to continue working with you, but people who feel this is something different, it's no issues on that. Here's the full refund, and that's it. So that's in my cases. But I understand that the cases where maybe you first, let's say you've been working on this several days, many hours, and you're delivering this project, right? And then you hear that they're not happy. So what you can do, the first thing is that when you start a project, it's good in order, it's good to remember that the buyer is gonna rate you not just by the delivery that you provide them, but by the whole experience. So even if you can get let's say a 1 star, I hope this not happens to you, but let's say you get a 1 star, but still you can get a 5 star for the communication, right? And then your rating is gonna be obviously not 1 star, it's gonna be probably somewhere 3 point something, depending on other, right? But at least it's going to be better than 1 star. So faster communication is something that you should remember, and this goes as an onboarding experience. This is the next thing where it's personalized onboarding. So what I mean by personalized onboarding, so what you should have in your requirements, you should put some video. Also, like I talked here, where you send the video, but it's more about how the service works. But in this video, you send them and it shows them how like the process is done, what's gonna be the next steps, what they should expect from you, right? And that way it creates a personalized experience where they're not gonna be bothering you like, oh, what's gonna be happening next? Any updates, etc., question marks. They will understand clearly what they can expect, right? So this is very, very important. And you can send the best thing. Remember, you can send YouTube links, Vimeo as well links. You can send other links as well, but YouTube is the safest, and you can just make a video, put it on YouTube, make it unlisted so no one can see it publicly. But if you send them the link, they will actually go to your profile. This goes back to, if you want to attract more clients, you should create a YouTube channel and you should talk about the strategies, the services you provide, all of these things. And then when you share the links with your clients, they are able to actually see those the videos, and they can also go back to your channel as well, and then they will see other public videos that you have. The other thing is, of course, you want to try to avoid the refunds, but in cases that refunds will come to you, I will highly suggest you to make sure you do the refund before the delivery, because if you do it after the delivery, they can rate you. Now on Fiverr, you don't have this option anymore, where that's what they changed actually. You used to deliver an order, buyer wasn't happy, you just provide refund. Now, when you click that deliver button, and then you try to cancel the order after, the buyer can still rate you. And of course, in most situations, they're not gonna rate you negatively because they got their money back. But still, they can rate you negatively because Fiverr wants to be as transparent as possible, so they have an option of that. So if you can try to refund it early, that's the best way, right? Just, okay, you feel this is not going in the right direction, just explain to the buyer, sorry, it looks like, based on the scope of work, based on my service, this is not the best fit, so I'm gonna provide you a full refund. Then what you can do is that you can go to the Fiverr support and you can just send them this order and say, hey, the buyer has ordered, but the buyer maybe didn't understand exactly what my gig is, what I do, this was something out of the scope, So just send it to the support, and they're not gonna count it as your cancellation rate. This is always a great thing to do if you can. But of course, if you want to continue fighting for closing the order and these things like that, you need to, when I do, for example, because my service is a bit different. When I have a client, it's basically like a 30 days experience, so I can understand, let's say how buyer feels after 1 week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks. Like when I deliver, I have a very clear understanding if this is a let's say positive experience or not. But in cases where, for example, we create content and we send it to the client with the delivery, that's a bit tricky because I don't know how buyer feels, because I spent the last 5 days creating content and I'm just sending that to the buyer. For many of you, it might be the same. You've been working on designs, you've been working on other things, and you're just sending to the buyer and you're waiting what you can expect. So to protect yourself and to maybe enhance the experience, because you might understand based on this initial communication, based on the communication in the order, you can understand the mood of the buyer. You can see if they are maybe expecting a lot, or if they're picky with some things, or if they want these specific things. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to record a video analysis. So I do record, and I call it video analysis because it's a personalized analysis. It's not a YouTube video, so you're not sending YouTube video like here, generic video, YouTube video. You are recording your screen. You can use Loom. You can use, if you're on Mac, you can use like QuickTime Player, just record your screen. There is a bunch of other screen recording platforms that you can use. But you're recording your screen. You obviously have, I suggest to have also camera on yourself. You usually have it in the circle, and you tell them what you have done, right? In my cases, for example, if I worked on their Instagram account for the last 30 days, I will go over the report. I will tell them the things about the report quickly, and then I'm gonna give them some tips and strategies for their Instagram account. I'm gonna say, I see that you're doing this. This is great, but you need to do this and focus on that. And I'll show them the examples as well. I'll say like, this is how this profile is doing successfully because they are implementing what I'm trying to say to you. You have to understand this, because you need to grow yourself as an expert, right? You don't want to be stuck at this freelancer bubble and just be, because on Fiverr, you're competing with sellers all around the world, everywhere in the world, right? So you want to find ways where you can be better than others. That's why Fiverr is great, because you can be very competitive. You see that other seller has a video or other things, and you want to be better, right? So you're trying to work on yourself. I started to do that from the very beginning. I was like, okay, I want to do a video, I want to do this, I want to have a personalized experience, because I want the buyer to remember me. I mean, of course I want to provide them the value, but I want the buyer to be like, I work with Vasily, he helped me, he's a great guy, he has this like a nice process, I feel personalized, okay, maybe this survey didn't bring me the followers I expect or the number I expect, but I still enjoyed the experience. And they're gonna remember that. The next time you reach out to them, they will remember this experience. So try to keep the personalized experience, personalized onboarding, but also by doing this video analysis, you are automatically giving them more value. And at least even if they're not going to be happy with the result, they will still see the video analysis and they're like, okay, this guy, I understand that this seller, blah, 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 maybe it's not the best, but they really tried their best. I appreciate it. I'm going to rate them. Because, it's like maybe a general rule, like in our life, people, it's the same with like school, university, like, it doesn't matter, okay, maybe you didn't do as well, but you tried your best, you tried, and people can see that, they will still rate you with like 5 stars, because most people understand that the rating system is, yes, I mean, even buyers, they know that. They don't want to rate, even, for example, maybe experience wasn't great, but they still don't want to rate you like 1 star, because they understand that this is important. The other thing, this is maybe not the topic for this, but you can encourage your buyers to leave your a feedback, not a good feedback, not a 5-star feedback, but just you can encourage. You can say, hey, I'll really appreciate, to hear your thoughts on the service. You can just say generally, like it doesn't need to be. I mean, you cannot say, hey, can you rate 5-star, because you will get banned on Fiverr. But you can encourage them to leave a feedback. So like this, and that will actually work really well. A lot more buyers are going to be leaving the feedback because of that. But this is the things. The other thing I put here, as you can see here, you can do a free extension. This doesn't apply for everyone, but in my cases, if I provide a free extension, technically I'm giving them more days, more free days that I'm going to be working on their account. So that also adds additional value. If that's not the case, you can do like a strategy plan. For example, you can give them some marketing plan on some tips or some personalized strategy, which will also be very, very powerful. The other thing, and this is something that still can happen, probably rarely, but that still can happen, is that after delivery, they might not see your delivery, and then the delivery goes to autocomplete, right? And then at some point, they will be like, hey, I'm not happy with what you've done, So things like that can happen, and it did happen to me in the past as well. Thankfully, it was just a few cases, but it still happened. So what can you do in these cases? The first thing, of course, you have always the refund option, right? It's a bit tricky because technically you deliver the work. That's why when you're delivering the work, you have to be careful that you have to actually deliver the work. You cannot just send them the empty delivery, because when you will escalate it to the Fiverr support with a refund, they're going to look at your delivery. That's what they look. They look at the delivery first. They actually check if this has been delivered. It has been delivered. They check what has been delivered. If they don't see anything there, or the message is like, hey, John, I'm still waiting for your feedback or response, let me know. This is a big red flag. You can get a warning for that. So before jumping into the refund, I will suggest to try to offer some ongoing support. First thing what you can do is you can offer additional service. You can offer them, hey, let's jump on a call and I will explain this, this and that. Don't be afraid, because I remember I wanted to be like practice more and talking with clients, and I offered a consulting session. I had a consulting gig. It was quite cheap, but I just wanted to get with as many buyers as possible on the call and provide them this service. And that gave me a lot of practice, because I heard different stories. Some people were saying like, oh no, you're wrong, and I learned about the way of speaking to buyers, the way you have to speak to them, the way you have to present your information. You need to be confident. You cannot say, I think that this will be good for you. No, this will be good for you, because this will, every marketer, they have their own strategies. There is no like a right or wrong, everyone has their own. Of course, you need to back up your proofs. When you say to them, you need to do that, you need to at least show that if you are doing this or someone else is doing this, that this is actually is working, right? You cannot just tell them some bullshit, and then expect that this is gonna work. So providing additional service, this might be another, for example, you can make a free strategy plan. But I will suggest to try to jump on a call and just, clear all the expectations, and just to make sure they're not gonna escalate this further to the Fiverr. At the same time, of course, you can say to them at any time, they can reach out to me. For example, if they hadn't chance to see the delivery and they get back to you, say like, oh, hey, I don't know, Mike, let's say your name is Mike, or, I don't know, Natalia, I still want to change this. Can you change this, this and that, And you can say, of course, I'm going to work on this. Thank you for your message. Please don't worry. Even though the order is complete, we can still work on the revisions. I'm happy to make as many changes as needed. Just give them this sort of a feeling that they're not, they're not forgotten. Yeah, they're not forgotten. So like this, they will know that, okay, this seller is still there. That's perfect. I still feel connected. Because the biggest things as well, when you, let's say if they message you and you don't respond for a long time, people, they start to make assumptions and they start to like panic a little bit, and they will escalate it to Fiverr, they will escalate it. So you want to try to react as quick as possible to these kind of situations. So guys, I hope this was useful. This just gives you a little bit of, things that you can do with different cases, different situations. I feel most of the complaints, most of the difficult situations you can avoid at this stage, at the beginning stage. You can see the red flags, you can see the buyers that maybe not the best fit, but I totally understand that you want to make money, you want to grow your career, your freelancing career. But I think in the long term, you'll realize that, because I'm saying no a lot of times. Every day I'm saying no to many people, that I cannot work with them, because I know, because I already completed 27,000 orders, I can already see a lot of similarities. And some buyers that message me here at this stage, I can already maybe predict what's going to be happening on this stage, So that's why for me it's just not worth it, because there are a lot of other buyers that will be better match for me in terms of like the better value that I can provide to them. So yeah, you can find a lot of, at this stage already make a lot of assumptions about how the experience can be. Once again, guys, thank you so much. Please feel free to check out my newsletter, because I have a Fiverr course, the full Fiverr course. Used to be a paid course, it's free now. Feel free to check it out. Also, if you subscribe to my newsletter, you'll stay up to date with my latest strategies, and I finally started to push a lot of useful content there, so you can expect weekly content, weekly value as well. If you have any questions, you can always send in the comments here, so feel free to write any questions in the comments. You can reach out to me on X as well. You can send me a DM there. You can follow my journey behind the scenes and like on a daily basis as well. Thank you so much again for watching. Hope your journey is going well on Fiverr or any other platforms, or as a marketer, as a freelancer, as an agency owner. Hope you have a lot of more good clients. Well, I don't like to say good, bad clients, but clients that are associates with your visions, with your services. That's the whole thing, because every buyer, every person have different expectations. So you want to, of course, align people with the expectations that you can provide them eventually. So again, thank you so much, and see you in the next video.